5 minutes before 10 o'clock. We have two people from CareerSource, Citrus, Levy, and Marion in the studio today. Laura Byrnes is here. Of course, you know Laura. She comes in every month or so to talk about the different job opportunities, etc. And I love the culture part of the discussions. Laura is here today with Jerry Flanders, who is also with CareerSource, Citrus, Levy, Marion. We're going to be talking about job openings, etc. in those three counties. Anyway, good morning, Laura, and good morning, Jerry. Nice to meet you, Jerry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to be here.
So how today is July 1st.
It is, absolutely, and you probably can't all tell, but I'm wearing red, white, and blue, not only in early honor of Independence Day,
Right.
but because women's soccer is going to the finals.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
Anyway.
Jerry's dressed too. He's got red, white, and blue on.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
He's all set.
I forgot. Nobody told me.
Yeah.
So Jerry's here. He's going to talk a little bit about how if you want independence from unemployment.
Look at you.
Yes.
Wow.
We have some revolutionary ways.
Well, see, I was going to use the July 1st thing as the beginning of a new half year. So it's like a new half year's
that's true.
resolution.
That's
Why
true.
wait 6 months? Do it right now.
Do it
You
now.
need a better job? Well, you need a job, period, right?
Absolutely. And in fact, before Jerry gets rolling with all that, I just have a couple hiring events to let folks know about.
Okay.
And tomorrow, actually, these will crop up like kudzu, basically. Sometimes,
Like kudzu?
yesterday, I didn't even know some of these existed. But we have Southeast Resource Manufacturing, and they have a hiring event at our CareerSource in Ocala at 9 a.m. Then Manpower is doing some hiring as well, again at our One Stop here in Ocala, and that's from 10 to noon. Then over in Lecanto at our One Stop, we have Hospital Parking Management. They're looking for some valet parkers over
Really?
there. That's
Oh,
kinda
I can do
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
I
And
can
that's-
do that job.
That starts at 10. The next week, we have Gateway Bank on July 7th is hiring, and that's here in Ocala at our office. On the 8th, Comfort Keepers is hiring, and that's at 9 a.m. at our One Stop in Ocala. And then on July 14th, ResCare is hiring. That's in healthcare, home healthcare, and that's on July 14th at 10:30, and that will take place in Ocala. And then on July 16th, if you want to, Family Life Care, it will be hiring at our Chiefland Career Center.
Okay.
So, and you can get details for all of these hiring events and any of our workshops that Jerry might talk about at our calendar of events at CareerSourceCLM.com.
Okay, excellent. Jerry, I have a question for you. Does somebody who is currently hired have a better chance of getting a job than somebody who's unemployed?
Absolutely.
They do.
Absolutely.
So don't quit your job
Don't quit your job.
if you're
In
looking for
fact,
another one. Yeah.
It makes a great case for sometimes the perfect job may not be out there immediately. And so a wiser strategy may very well be to take a job that's acceptable, may not have the pay that you're hoping for, but as you take that job and perform well, improve yourself, you're improving your chances of marketability for your next job.
Wow, that is a really good point. Gosh, that needs to be underscored and put in bold print, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and what too many individuals don't appreciate is the longer they're out of work, the less marketable that they are, because employers are wondering, what on earth have you been doing? And when it's been an extended period of time, they may be wondering, why is it you can't get hired? What is it that I don't know about
Absolutely.
you
Sure.
that other employers have discovered?
And you want to know something? 9 times out of 10, that's just a number out of my hat, but when I don't wear a hat, but it's probably true. There is probably some reason. If you're out of work for a whole year, there might be something about you that you need to really look introspectively at.
You need to take a real assessment
Right.
of your strengths as well as maybe the baggage that you have, things that are keeping you from
Right.
getting employed or getting notice. So the obstacles, if you will, that you have to overcome in order to get employed. For some individuals, they may have been away from the world of work that they truly aren't marketable yet, that their employability skills or their work readiness skills need to be refreshed. And in Employ Florida, they will notice that there are a category of volunteer positions with not-for-profit agencies. And so oftentimes as we're working and coaching individuals, we'll have the discussion about the possibility of spending a sliver of their time in a volunteer capacity. Not in a way to give back to the community like we used to, but in a way that builds those employability skills.
Well, it does that too, but it does the first thing too. I mean,
It certainly does,
Yeah.
but we want to treat that just like employment on a resume in a non-paid capacity, so that it tells an employer that you actually are ready to go back to work. And while you're doing that, you're likely building some relationships and able to update some of the references that you may need to put on an employment application as well.
I know there are very few people who actually tried to do what I'm doing right now. However, there's still a lot of truth in what you said right here, because we don't hire anybody who has never worked on the air. So it's a real catch-22.
Exactly.
How do you get in? Well, there's two ways: intern, which is basically volunteering.
Yes.
Or just do the jobs that nobody wants to do, like, commercials during the Saturday football game or something like that. Yeah.
Is it okay if I jump in with a quick
right
example? This is a real-life example of someone I know. A lady who had volunteered over at United Way had done such a fabulous job that when their front desk receptionist had gone out on maternity leave, they asked her to fill in a paid capacity for 6-8 weeks, whatever it was. She came to my attention because every time I would stop in there, I think I was with Toastmasters, dropping in for meetings. She seemed so professional and friendly and just very engaging. So at my office, when we had a temporary opening for a receptionist, I recommended this lady, who then came and worked for us for a couple months. When that gig ended, she went on and took several volunteer type positions, but she had come to the attention of our CEO and major decision makers who were serving over at the United Way. So she had quite a nice network of resources and recommendations, and then she just parlayed that one after another, and now she has a fantastic job, a full-time job, and thanks to that combination of volunteering and temporary work and everything that Jerry was just talking about.
So in her case, it may not have been a strategy. It may have just been luck of chance, because she probably did the volunteer wanting to simply volunteer and give back, as Jerry was saying.
Initially, probably, yeah.
But I like the idea, if you're looking for a job and you have nothing, the first thing your friends are going to say is, why are you volunteering? It pays nothing. But at the same time, if it's a way to get your foot in the door, so I guess
in a way to freshen up your skills,
Yeah.
freshen up your resume, and increase your confidence and your marketability along the way.
I would say, and just being in the work environment, just being in an office, definitely must change something about you by doing that.
You have to get up and be somewhere on time.
Right. It's the hardest part of a job, isn't it?
Sure. You have to
Getting to it.
freshen up your relationship skills. Oftentimes customer service skills, computer skills, time management abilities, organizational skills, all those things go into what that volunteer effort can provide you.
But you have to also look the part, too. You can't come in pajamas and flip-flops. You have to dress professionally, and so many people out there, I think, don't know how to do that because they don't really care.
Well, maybe that's where some of our workshops come into
Perfect
play.
segue.
Helping them get oriented to what they need to do. The value of CareerSource Citrus Levy Marion is this. They can take advantage of Employ Florida, and they can be high tech, if you will, as they look for jobs and apply for positions. But what they have is an opportunity to be high touch, and what I mean by that is to work directly with our team, our placement specialists, if you will, who in essence become their coach for helping them move, if you will, their marketing along. And one of the things that we offer to support our placement specialists and to help individuals become more informed of what they need to do to get noticed in today's environment is we offer a wide array of workshops. We have over a dozen workshops, and those workshops are intended, if you will, to allow them to pick and choose some of the workshops that they know that they need to freshen up their skill sets in. Interview skills is one of those, and maybe what I'll suggest is starting with our foundational workshop, which is navigating the new world of work. which is an intense workshop that is really designed to talk about why it's so difficult in today's environment to get in front of an employer. Why it's so difficult to get noticed, way more difficult than it's ever been in the past. So that's a workshop that's a good example that talks about some of the structural changes that have happened in today's world of work that make it so difficult and that they need to be aware of in order to adjust and market themselves around those strategies. And those two effective strategies are creating targeted resumes on a job-specific basis, and then lastly, being prepared for today's interviews that are very different than what they've been in the past.
Jerry, we have to take a little break, and we'll be right back. If you have a question, by the way, for Jerry or Laura, go ahead and call this number 622-9622. I'm just learning how to repronounce her name. I'm just relearning how to pronounce her name. I was saying Laura. It's Laura. What do you say? What do you say, Jerry? What do you call her?
Laura.
Did you get it right? I can't even tell.
So, Laura.
Laura.
Your Majesty will also. That's fine.
Ma'am.
All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, sunshine mixing with clouds. A thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening hours. The high today 91 to 95. Partly cloudy later tonight, low 70 inland, 76 on the coast. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds with a thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening hours. The high tomorrow 90 to 94. On Friday, sunshine and some clouds with a couple of thunderstorms popping up in the afternoon. The high 91 to 95. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood. And when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind. With a custom treatment plan that really works, I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
In 1870, federal legislation established July 4th as a national holiday. The Voice of South Marion wants to remind you of the freedom that it represents. Have fun and enjoy all the celebrations, but remember to keep it safe. Don't drink and drive, auto or boat. Be careful with fireworks and never allow youngsters to be unsupervised. Make this holiday one to remember for all the fun. Happy Independence Day from all of your friends at the Voice of South Marion. All right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's return. Let's see. Laura Byrnes is in the studio with Jerry Flanders. They're both from CareerSource Citrus Levy Marion. We've been learning about kind of a cool strategy to getting yourself back into the workforce by volunteering and or working as an intern. So I have a quick question, if I could, about resumes. I was helping somebody with a resume, and the person wanted it sent online. It had to be a CV resume. Okay. So I went online and said, what the heck is a CV resume? And it's like this Latin phrase. I guess you guys know what it is. And when you go online, how do you generate a CV resume? I don't even know what it is. You have to pay to generate this thing, or at least the one I found, the site I found. What is it? What is a CV resume? And is that the thing of the day where you have to submit a CV resume?
Actually, it's not.
What is that?
Mostly CVs are for academic resumes.
Really?
And so for most individuals, I'll say a targeted resume is what they'll be using to showcase their fit and skills on a job-specific basis. And while you can go online and find resources for individuals who will prepare your resume for a price, you can go to CareerSource and work with our resume coaches and attend our resume workshops. We have 3 different resume workshops that are intended to help individuals, if you will, learn the skills that they need to create targeted resumes on a job-specific basis.
That's good to know.
It's way different than what it used to be. And so we have beginning resume workshops, intermediate resume workshops, and lastly, targeted resume workshop, which is an indication that we work them through the steps so that we assist them in learning what they need to do to create resumes. What we don't do is we don't prepare the resume for them. We could easily do that. We have a core of certified professional resume writers.
Right.
We could offer that service. However, if we did that, that's only good for that resume for that specific position. What we look to do is to teach individuals how they need to create resumes, again, on a job-specific basis.
Right.
To tell the employer only the things that the employer is interested in terms of their fit and experience for the positions that they're applying for.
So the job you had in the 80s, you don't even need to worry about it unless it's the job you still have.
Well, to be sure, if it's a job in the 80s, you begin to date yourself by simply having that on there.
70s.
So some of the tips that we have is making sure that your resume is in fact age neutral. So generally what we're going to do is we're going to work with roughly the last 10 years of their work history.
Oh, okay. Good advice probably for everybody, right?
It is.
Don't be bragging about the fact that you're 60.
Or 35 years of experience in a particular field.
And when Jerry talks about targeted resumes, job specific, he's not implying you make something up. You look at your skills, your experience, or anything, and I've used this example before. Martha Stewart, who's had a career as a model, as a Wall Street, financial whatever, as a caterer, as a
license plate maker. I think she had for a while.
Well, there's that too. As a media mogul, so. Her resume, if she wanted to apply for editor of Sports Illustrated, she would probably talk about her media experience and her modeling experience. If she wanted, to apply for head chef someplace, she would call on, not that she ignores those other things, but you bring those to the forefront and you heighten those.
How about hobbies and interests? That used to be a thing on resumes years and years ago. Is that still applicable today, or is that
It is not. And in fact, for most individuals, you don't have the space on a resume. You need to put way more important things on your resume. So today's resume, targeted resume specifically, is oftentimes going to start out with a summary statement that's going to be brief and to the point, be followed up by a heading of skills and qualifications that begins to drive the fit a little bit deeper. And then has a section for key accomplishments, 1 or 2 key accomplishments that quantify the results of some of your work efforts. And then if you have that current volunteer experience, so again, it's not volunteer experience that you did 4 or 5 years ago. It's current volunteer experience that's filling in the gap between now and the time that you last worked. And then your work experience, and then your education and training, and then lastly, if there's military experience, it would be applicable there as well.
And I don't know if this goes without saying or not, but do you just forget about your high school and all that? I mean, it doesn't seem to even apply as long as you got a diploma.
Well, we're certainly going to identify the degrees and the credentials that are relevant to the position.
So high school is still important to put on there.
It is. I mean, for many employers, they're going to be looking, depending on the level of the position, whether there's a high school diploma or not. If I do have advanced degrees, I can focus on those advanced degrees, associates, bachelor's, master's.
So using Laura's example of Martha Stewart, none of those things indicated she learned those things in a school, but she learned those things in life. Does that apply at all? Like, I didn't go to school for this, to what I do here, but
Sure.
I've done it for a long time.
Yes. I mean, any education that you have indicates that you spent some time at a higher level than high school. And so we would want to capture that in some way. And most employers are going to be asking for that information on an application as well.
Do you have a close relationship with the people looking for work? In other words, are you cheerleaders for them in kind of a way? You just feel like, oh man, I found a great job for you. I know it's not exactly what you're looking for, but this sounds like you. Do you have that?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, our goal with our placement specialists is to be that coach for them, to be a cheerleader. And the way we're organized, our placement specialists work with our recruitment specialists who work with the employer. So it's a team effort, if you will, for our staff to be aware of jobs that are being posted, be aware of the folks that they're working with, and to be able to not only champion them, but to help them build assets and see that they have assets. Now, they don't have the time, if you will, to teach them everything that they need to know to be marketable. So that's where all of our workshops come into place. So it's an opportunity for our placement specialists and working with our customers, if you will, to help guide them and give them the knowledge, if you will, that will allow them to be more effective in their job campaign.
And you can only get that kind of relationship when you're working one-on-one. And the more you
Makes
know.
sense, yeah.
And as Jerry said, I mean, our employment specialists and our placement specialists, they work as a team. So when an employer has a specific need or opening, it's often the case that the placement specialist will say, I have the ideal candidate for you, and they can make that match because they know them and they know their skills and they know where they are. So definitely, when you can get staff assisted, go that route, because that is a fantastic service and it is no charge. So definitely do that.
And I might add that
no charge is important to mention.
Yeah, no cost, and our placement specialists as that coach, what they're interested in is many things, but particularly what kind of jobs are you seeing that you think are a fit, and how are your resumes developing that would tell the employer that you are that fit? And so by knowing more about the kinds of positions that they're interested in, gives them an opportunity and insight to take a look at other positions that we see posted as well.
So you've encouraged people to stay on their job while they're looking for something else. So if that new person calls up and says, okay, you got the job, how much of a notice do you give your employer that you're currently working for? Is it like just 2 weeks?
In today's environment, it still would be standard for a 2-week notice. To be fair, probably the majority of the customers that we work with are individuals who aren't employed, and so what they're on a mission is to get employed as quickly as possible. But if someone were employed on a full-time basis and were interested because they're looking at a career change, as an example, that'd be a perfect opportunity for them to work with us, and again, to allow us to assist them not only in their marketing of themselves, but really providing some critique as we see their resumes developing.
Let's take the last minute or so to give out information so that our listeners can contact you. Laura, Jerry, who wants to give that information?
Well, definitely go to our website, CareerSourceCLM.com. You will see all kinds of resources there, but certainly we'll look around the calendar of events. You'll see the workshops. I mean, each month between workshops and visits from our mobile resource units and our hiring events, we have well over 100 different free events and opportunities that we just encourage folks to take advantage of throughout our region.
All right, and for the listeners who maybe are not looking for a job but you know somebody who is, this has been recorded. You can take this video and share it with whoever might benefit from it. And it just goes without saying that, especially in today's world, having somebody represent you and coach you and maybe especially brush you off if you need it, CareerSource is where to go. Laura Byrnes and Jerry Flanders, thank you both for coming in today.
Thank you.
Very informational.
Happy 4th of July.
Yes. We'll be right back.
Go USA.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.